see. Let's pin this. And there we are. In the meantime, I'm developing Gleba a little more. So this whole area I'm clearing out, and I'm not going to put concrete because that would just be ridiculous. But we're going to get rid of the trees, and it's going to be plantations because I'm making legendary bioflux here. I don't really know why. I think I want to make legendary science, but at this point I'm just doing it for the love of the game more than anything. So this is the unit I've made already. And once you guys let me know what you want to see, I can show you. But until I get it suggested, I'm going to keep on working on my legendary Bioflux setup. So it takes in Bioflux and all the stuff you need for these rockets, and then it upcycles it, which means you can get a much higher efficiency in terms of how much Bioflux you get in for legendary out by recycling it and then building it and then recycling it and building it again. And capture bot rockets have a very high proportion of Bioflux in their recipe, so they're ideal for this. It's not perfect because there's no inherent productivity in assembly machines, but it's good enough. So right now I'm just building the plantations for it and clearing everything out because this is a perfect area. You see there's like a proportion, there's like 30% is jelly nut and then 70% is Yamako within this square, which is a great proportion for Bioflux. Because that's like roughly the same ratio. You need more Yamako. So, oh, it seems like my network got disconnected, my robot network. So it's just going to be a lot of copy paste now. But I can go anywhere. I can show you the ship, rocket fields, whatever strikes your fancy. Alright. So I put down the deconstruction planer first through this entire thing, and there's some pockets that I'm going to have to clean up later, but it's mostly covered by radar. So you put the deconstruction planer down, and then you come in with the robots. And the plan is to make this entirely covered by a logistic network. And if you do it right, it'll all like handle itself, and it'll take like a couple hours, but that's time I could be spent doing other things in the factory. So I set it up now. I do like the hard task and let the bots handle it, and then while that's going, I can come over here and then continue to build out the legendary Bioflux. And by the time this is all cleared out and these are built, the fields, this will be ready to accept it. And so in that way you can save a remarkable amount of time. And that's how I did this. So this took an unbelievable amount of time, like 10, 20 hours game time to pave with concrete and to put all the agricultural towers in. Oh my god. Everything. It took ridiculous amounts of time because I paved this entire thing with concrete thinking that I wouldn't have to, it would just be there and I could plant overgrowth over it because I didn't read the wiki. But you can't plant overgrowth over concrete, so I had to rip up all the concrete again, which took like 5-10 hours. And there it is. But in that time, I was able to build out the overgrowth here, and then also the rocket silos, which were a whole thing, because that took so much time to design and build. I'm unemployed if you hadn't noticed. Okay. I don't even know if I'm saying things into the void. I see people are watching, but I don't know if they got the sound turned on. Alright. I tried to live stream yesterday, but the streaming thing wasn't working. Yes, it is. It took a lot of time. Thank you. Took a lot of time. Too much time. If you want to see anything in particular, I'd be more than happy to show off for you. Alright. So as you can see here, this is the Gleba Meabase. And I think scale is a little difficult to understand when you're this zoomed out. And I don't think there's really any good way of showing in comparison. So like, this is my original agricultural science base. You have the pentapod eggs and the science generators, and you have a blade of rocket silos. And it's a good base. I mean, it would handle, 480 agricultural science a second. Like, it was solid base. And it's a good size. And before then, my base was like so small. It was like this rectangle right here. And it was still like a belt of agricultural science. So you have this, and at this point, this is just support. I don't even make science with this anymore. It's just support for the rockets and everything else. So, this 480 science a second base, you zoom out a little bit, you start to understand how big everything is. But honestly, like, the bots handle it, and if you make your designs easily copy-pastable, if you make your designs copy-pastable, like, it's fairly easy. You just go boop, 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 and it handles it all for you. The biggest problem is making your designs copy-pastable because it has to be robust. If you zoom in on rockets, he's not watching anymore. If you zoom in on these rockets, like, there's circuits that have to be connected. You have to make sure I didn't use productivity 3 because I would not have enough legendary biter eggs. So I used productivity 3, like, non-legendary. Just common, because there's no way I could get it. And so I had to research enough rocket part productivity. But once you get, so you take this portion right here. You say, okay, this is what I'm going to build it out of. Everything maps. It's that one design over and over and over again. And it's created in such a way that all you have to do is control copy, control V, control C, control V, and then do it over and over and over again. So loop 2, and then 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, however many rocket silos. It's 8,800. And it just works. You test in the small scale and it works in the big scale. Hello everyone, I see we have some new viewers. I'm taking suggestions on where to go. Right now, just talking about the rocket silos. Next to it, overgrowth creation. You need roughly 35,000 seeds a minute, which if you guys have ever made Yamako seeds, you know how difficult it is to get these. So yeah, you combine them. You have the biter eggs that funnel their way in. And then you have the fruit fields, which extend for quite a while. Lots of fruit. And then there's my ship. And if you'd like, actually, let's send it on its way. So I already filled up, but I didn't want to lag out my computer. So I filled up and I just like left it at novice. But I think it's time that we show off a little bit. So it's going to go to Gleba. I already have all the overgrowth, so you're only going to see a small rocket launch just from the stuff that was in the system already. I'm going to watch it collect some Prometheium, but that's going to take a little bit of time. So come back whenever you like. And in the meantime, I'm terraforming Gleba, so logistic networks everywhere, and then removing all of the trees and the rocks and everything. I don't know what my vision is for this necessarily. I'm just clearing it out so I can do something with it. I think I'm going to turn this all into harvester fields because this is like a 30-70 split jelly nut Yamako. And that's perfect for the Bioflux that I'm doing. So right now I've got legendary Bioflux Upcycling. Here's one blade of it. It's a design that I don't know if it's going to work, but I thought it was pretty clever, so we'll see. You don't know until you try. And the reason why you upcycle is because it would just take it forever just recycling straight Bioflux, so you can craft the Bioflux into something which gives a quality bonus, and then you recycle it, which gives it another quality bonus. So you just go, boom, boom, boom. It's like 5 times more efficient, maybe even 10 times more efficient than just straight recycling Bioflux. And then from there, I'm going to make legendary agricultural science. And I'm sure this is not a perfect grid, but I mean, perfect is the enemy of good. And if I focused on perfect, this entire thing would not have come together in the first place. I mean, there's just like random robo ports all over the place here that I just haven't bothered to get rid of because there's like 200 of them. And I'm sure I could get a 2%, 3% efficiency increase, but they don't really care. I think I've pasted enough for now here, so I'm going to focus on making the rest of my designs for this. So right now we have Bioflux. What the heck's going on here? When you get a factory this large, sometimes the bots just don't do what they're supposed to do. Actually, that can stay right there. So, Bioflux, and then let's copy paste some of our iron making. Iron and copper. I'm going to need it for capture bot rockets. Those are such ugly copy paste. This was made before I really took modularity to heart, so the designs are kind of like put in wherever they can be. Because I wanted to be like close to the Bioflux. I don't want that stuff to spoil, because it spoils reasonably quickly. So if Bioflux is here, let's see. I'm gonna want let's do I'm envisioning a line of Bioflux this way that comes this way. So if I do that, this would fit in nicely right here. Because the bus is going to come this way. Okay. And then I can always move it around. I mean, I have a bot army, so things get like placed fairly quickly. I can change things. Okay. Oh, I can tell this is already lagging me out. If it becomes an issue, I'll just put a kibosh on that and show off the ship another time. Alright. I realized I don't like it like this. The pipe axis isn't as good, and I might as well go for 2 because I always want to be able to build more. So 1 there, and then we'll do 1 right next to it, right there. And then this will create the molten iron and copper that we need for the rest of this. So as I said in the pinned comment, I'm taking suggestions on where to go. As you can see, this is the Gleba Meabase. It's pretty big. But for now, I'm just doing legendary Bioflux Upcycling. So, got to get all the stuff for that. This can come a little closer. And then it's fine if it deletes the robo ports are just there for building. They're not that necessary for anything. And I'm going to need processing units too. I have one design, but it's only for bots. So I'm just going to build another. I'm not really sold on this design either. It's kind of ugly. It's kind of yucky. Just don't like it so much. Oh my god, I'm gonna need plastic for that too. Oh, that's I think I'm just gonna steal plastic from the rest of my factory because I have these plastic generators that aren't doing very much. So I'm gonna steal the plastic. What else do I need? Okay, steel. I mean that's simple. Okay, it's just processing units. That's fine. And all I need for that is sulfuric acid, which I have, and plastic, which I have. So no issues there. In fact, I think I'm just going to steal. Let's see what our plastic production's looking like. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to make it in the base. I don't want to rely on this base for anything, really. I think I'm just going to make it all in-house so it's like modular. Because it's just so much prettier that way. And I mean, at this point, I'm doing it for the love of the game more than anything, so I might as well just like redesign. Alright. Wait, shouldn't there be a buffer chest here? Oh, there is. Okay, good. Alright. I think I'm going to want these coming down. And then what do I need for bioplastic? So these are the 2 raw materials. This will handle... Oh my god, that's so much. I think I'm going to build everything on top of this unit. Oh my god, I need a lubricant too. Absolutely. So this is my design for molten copper. I'm currently using it for something else, but inside this support base, I've got two of these things. I don't know why they just cut out there. Maybe it shouldn't cut out like that, but I guess it did. Um, but this is it's only a couple of biochambers. With full productivity, it really doesn't need too much. So molten, and you need a fair amount because you have to remember I'm making a lot of rocket parts. I mean, I need 240 a second average. So there's a couple of these foundries being fed. I mean, when you're working at this scale, like you just need a ridiculous amount of these. You can't take things for granted, right? You can't just say, "Oh, yeah, I can make processors and I'll ship them in from Vulcanus and it will be fine." No, it's like you can't do that because that would be so many processors, and my Vulcanus production is already strained as it is. So I wouldn't want to push it anymore. So I just said, whatever. There's infinite resources on Gleba. I might as well just make it there, and feed it in. So from there, they feed these buffer chests. I create a circuit condition where you need 1 million in the logistic network stored in these buffer chests before it calls it quits, just so it doesn't overwhelm the network. And then that 1 million is enough to cover, uh, combined with the requester chests that feed into these. That 1 million is enough for one one go. So I use 1 million of each in one shot whenever I load up on my Prometheium ship. And then it takes about 2 hours to fill up again, and then there's like a 15-minute down period, and then this guy's back. And speaking of the end game, yeah, thank you. I didn't. When I started playing Factorio, I was spaghetti man. I was like Rouse spaghetti, Carbone. I was like Italian how spaghetti it was. And you can still see on Vulcanus, like, it's horrific, right? It's just disgusting. This is like the worst factory I've ever designed. I put down malls. So I'd put down like, oh, I need legendary like robots. So I'd put that down, but then I'd forget that I'd have it. And so I'd just create another one somewhere else because I just like lose track of it. But then I decided to lock in a little bit for Gleba, um, and create this monstrosity. But Lord knows, I've spent my time, paying my dues in Spaghetti World before I got to this. Yeah, it's cool. Fulgora was also a complete mess, but at this point, I love Fulgora. Oh my god. People ask me what's my favorite like portion, and I could say my Prometheium ship. The Prometheium ship's like pretty basic. It's like okay, it's cool. I'm not gonna dock it. It does its job and it's fantastic. And I like the fact that it's got the serrated. The serrated front's great. I love the serrated front, and I think these things are clever. But everything else is like, you just ammo production lines. It's pretty, but the thing I'm most proud of, by far, and I did this just in one night, I came up with this crazy idea for these sorting blades where it's 2 lanes and then the ingredients are shunted off to the side and then handled. So either they're recycled into nothing or they're, end up being. And so that way I ended up with a main bus design in Fulgora, which was the biggest issue because before it was just a complete fucking mess, of bots and of spaghetti. And now I have these beautiful 8 lines and it goes up and it sorts itself and it hasn't jammed once. This thing has been running. I don't turn it off. I mean, this started off as 43 million and it's 42 and 250 game hours have passed. So it's constantly chewing through. It's been going for 250 hours straight and it has not jammed once. It's unbelievable. So everything else to me is like a moot point. I'm most proud of Fulgora, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm showing it right now. Yeah. So you have 4 recyclers coming into the cargo wagons, which is a neat little trick that I learned from somebody else. And it basically just makes a big chest that you can fit a lot more inserters into. So the inserters feed, it's either like tier 2 things, and then the gears are so populous that I just decided to process them right next to the cargo wagon and then turn them immediately into metal. And then, of course, I have overflow prevention because this thing cannot jam. Um, and I mean that literally and figuratively. If it jammed, I'm screwed. But also, it's not capable of jamming. I've not seen it jam before, and maybe it will, but I don't think it won't. um, and then it sends all the other ingredients off to here. It's either turned into water for ice, and there's overflow. This is red circuits, handles that nicely. Solid fuel, all the stuff I don't really care about at all. I don't even care about about blue circuits. I do save low density though, so you can see with the low density, it's actually sent off somewhere else. So this is my low density lane because this provides copper, provides steel, but I don't really care about steel, and then it provides plastic. More importantly than anything. Um, and then this is one blade, so each blade handles 360 a second, and then you have 12 blades in total. So a lot. So from there, you have sulfuric acid, which feeds these batteries to create accumulators, and I have the capacity for 2 full belts of pink, so that's 480 a second. That's, this is whatever. It's just making the holmium and electrolyte solution. And then this is superconductors and supercapacitors, so creating the holmium for it. And then I have this pretty little solution I like a lot, which takes low density, turns it into plastic and copper for the superconductors, and then either trashes the excess or sends the rest of the copper to make green circuits. It's like, okay, I could have made green circuits by recycling blue, but by the time I knew I needed green, I had already trashed, and I was not going to add another lane because there was just so much work involved with optimizing everything. I mean, this looks pretty now, but there was just so much work involved in making sure everything goes to the right spot. So I said, oh wait, I have a lane of blue. What am I talking about? Okay, I decided to do it for the plot. I decided to do it because I wanted to. I could have just recycled blue into green, but I didn't. So, whoops. And then this creates the superconductors. There's a rocket field. And then everything's fed into the pink science. Pink science is sent off here. And then I can also create turrets because if you hadn't noticed from my Gleba base... Oh, wait, let's see. How does it decide whether to shunt or not? Okay, let's see. Hang out on Discord. Sure, what? Let's see. Send me a DM on Reddit. If you go back to the overgrowth video, the one that blew up, the Reddit thread is pinned. So go to the Reddit thread and then send me a DM there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't recycle for green circle. I could have, but I didn't. I think I was just lost in the sauce of making my low density structure pretty, and I didn't want to bring in another lane of blue because I already had the low density structure. So here's the thing you have to understand. You might think that I'm a hardworking person because of everything that you see in this factory, and I want everybody to know that I am one of the laziest fucking people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And so many of my decisions are based on laziness rather than it being optimal. I made a lot of unoptimal decisions in this, suboptimal. But I'm like, I don't want to bring a blue circuit lane. It's all the way down there, and then I have to bring it all the way up. I got the copper from my low density structure right here. It's turned into green circuits. It's good enough. It's good enough. Because that would be a whole thing. So, yeah, I'm lazy. Anyways, let's see. whether to shunt or not. Let's see. It depends. So, for things like ice, it first tries to be turned into water, right? So I have a priority lane to the left that turns it into water. And if I'm full on water, because I'm not producing, it shunts it to the other side in order to be destroyed, just so I don't get a jam, because otherwise, the ice would hold everything up. Then I have a similar philosophy for metal, right? So I take the gears directly out of the cargo wagon, because there's just so many. And then it gets turned into, metal. And then the metal either goes off in the metal lane, which you can see snaking its way up, or it just gets trashed on site. All my friends, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I spent so much time making that video, so that means a lot to me. Me HLTW7V. I'm gonna call you Me Hit. How about Me Hit? That's an L. Me Hit. You're Me Hit. Okay. Kieran. Hi, Kieran. How you doing? I think you showed up at my first stream. This one's a little more involved. Last time it was just like music. Let's see. Any other questions? No. That's okay. We'll get more in the future. We're only gonna grow. Only gonna grow. Other than that, with my low density, you can see that the priority. So you can see these yellow arrows, right? The priority is that it gets sent up to my factory because I need it for raw materials. But if it's overflowing for whatever reason, it sends it off to the left side, and then it gets recycled down into nothing. You're just trashing it. And the same principle is with batteries. So I need batteries, and then if I don't, it just gets rid of them. But yeah, I like this setup so much. And then this is upcycling for, if you come up here, I'm upcycling right now, and let's see how many we got. Not many. Because I'm using all of them on Gleba. So you're like, why do I need so many Tesla turrets? It's like, you see all the red? Let's zoom in. There's a couple of Tesla turrets. So if how many? Okay, we got 17,000 common ones, and then 14,000 legendary ones to create a perimeter. Because if I didn't create a perimeter, you're like, okay, but I went all overboard, because if I don't create a perimeter, the critters are just going to completely lag my machine to like 6 UPS. Terrible. They lag the shit out of my machine. So you have to be super aggressive. So that's why I have so many Tesla turrets. Long story short. Thank you. A. Mueller, math tuber. I'm going to call you, I know a guy named Alex Mueller. So Alex, or if your real name, you can share that. Farms and defense when you're done with Fulgora. For sure. There's a lag in terms. I'm going to get rid of the stream lag, but I'm not messing with any other stream stuff today, because I did last night and I just could not get anything to work, and it was very frustrating. So there's a bit of a lag. I'm sorry if it takes a little bit of time to answer your questions, but that is what you have to do. And next time I stream, there won't be a lag. I'll make sure of it. Because I was like, what the fuck's going to happen? They're going to stream snipe me? Playing Factorio? You're going to stream snipe me? I might do League of Legends, though, in the future. I might do League of Legends. Possibly. And maybe no one's going to stream this because I'm playing ARAM, Anyways, so these are my defenses. As I said before, 30,000. And then the farms, let's do a quick context check. Okay, 5,800 agricultural towers, and only about half of them are in use. The rest are just copy-pasted. Again, when you're building things like this, let's zoom in so we get a pretty low shot. A rant about God knows what. When you're making something of this size, it has to be tileable. And you have to be willing to give up performance and also efficiency in order to make it tileable. So I just spammed agricultural towers across the whole thing. I don't care that half of them are not even going to be used. That's fine. All that matters is that I can copy paste, boom, 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 down. It's Alex. Wait a minute, Alex Mueller. Did you go to Ithaca High School? There's no way we're talking about the same Alex Mueller. If that's true, that's hilarious. Because then I would know you. Was that last one your first stream? There was one stream where I got really frustrated at my streaming software, and I would let the frustration bleed through. I didn't mean to post it, but I did. Because the streaming software just like wasn't working. It was just like lagging everything. I was like very mad at it. But this is going swimmingly. It's beautiful. So, you know, technical difficulties aside, moving forward. Let's see. To legendary. Good. Thanks for asking. Was the last one you? Okay. I'm currently working on my third megabase. Only just up to upcycling to legendary before the build part. So what are you upcycling? Are you upcycling to legendary science, or are you just upcycling the machines? Because both are important. But machines would come before science, I'm sure. I can show you some of my upcycling setups too. Now that you mentioned it, I will. But again, back to the farm, just copy paste, boom, 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 boom. And then over here we have material processing. So Yamako seeds are created here, and then this is also tileable, right? It comes in from the top and then exits the bottom, because alone this wouldn't be enough for one straight across. But there's some gaps in my farm that means that the bleed over from this is making no fucking sense. I'm sorry. I made it tileable, so it's all the way up and down. It's one belt. That's it. And then nutrients are created once in a while, because you don't want too much spoilage. But because somebody mentioned upcycling, I'm going to show you the thing that carried my ship. Wait, what the hell's going on? Oh, it's not part of the logistic network. Okay, that makes sense. This is my upcycling for railguns. It's very simple. And yes, I could have had like 10 commons down to one legendary, but again, I just like copy pasting. So boom, 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 boom. Again, I'm very lazy. Boom, 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 all the way across. Oh. Oh, well, I do know an Alex Mueller. Welcome from America, not Germany, unfortunately. Yes, I do. Let me show you what I do there. First, upcycling, yeah. It's a clever little design. I think it's pretty, and it works. It doesn't jam. More than anything, listen, I'm a spit game to you guys right now, because a lot of you guys play Factorio. The most important thing, period, when you're designing a factory, and I mean this, is reliability. Because if something fails on you and you're constantly having to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to like unjam it or fix it or like add more resources, whatever the hell it may be, you're wasting so much time and energy and thought. So I have lanes that will just trash excess. I'll just trash the excess just to make sure it doesn't get jammed. Yeah, it's like 20-30% less efficient. I'll take 80% less efficiency in order to make something that doesn't jam. Genuinely. You have to understand, okay, let's give you a reason why I care so much about this. I have 2,000 of these legendary plants, bioplants, whatever the hell you call them, bioprocessors. I have 2,000 of them. Each one has 4 legendary production units, right? That's like 8,000 legendary production units, whatever the hell, production modules. You can't get that without a dedicated upcycler. So what I did is I upcycled overgrowth soil, because you get legendary biter eggs, and then from legendary biter eggs, you can turn them into legendary production modules. I'll show you if I still have it, if I didn't delete it. The smallest upcycling unit. You understand? This is one assembling machine. I have one upcycling unit. It spits out like one legendary It spits out about 3 legendary biter eggs a minute. 3 legendary biter eggs is about 5 legendary modules. 5 legendary modules a minute is nothing. It's nothing because I'm dealing with like 20,000 legendary production modules. But it didn't matter because it went on for like 100 hours straight because it didn't jam. And before I had all these designs that would just jam, and they were more efficient than this, but they would jam and I had to take care of them and it was completely useless. And once I figured out a design that would just work uninterrupted, everything changed for me. And then I could use legendary and production modules and everything. Yeah, it's a lot of railguns. Let's see. The very beginning. Okay, let's see. I built all my seeds, no robots involved. Robots, I can't use robots for anything except like moving rocket parts to the rocket silos, but even then, I probably should have belted. I just didn't want to deal with the hassle. All right, questions. Let's see. Like the very beginning, quality. Yeah, quality module upcycling, big deal. Quality modules take so long to make. I recommend. Okay, so spit some more game on you guys. We're going all over the place. My apologies. I don't apologize. So let's start with quality modules because that was something I struggled with for a while, and they're also the most important thing, in my opinion. They're the one assembling machines you want to upcycle first. Plants maybe, but even those don't matter. Production modules, especially, and quality modules. So quality modules are number one. Production modules are number two. Speed modules are number three. Efficiency, I've used them before. Actually, they're quite helpful, but they're very niche, so I wouldn't really worry about them unless. What do they need? They need a bunch of circuits, and they need legendary biter eggs. So the biter eggs I get through, as I just said, overgrowth upcycling. And I don't upcycle the modules themselves because they take so long to both recycle and craft. So I upcycle the ingredients. And then for red and blue, I don't know if you know this. It's a fairly common technique. I have a space casino, as I call it, that rerolls asteroids because it's a much better ratio. Rerolls asteroids, it turns them into ingredients, and then I collect what I need to. This is, I call it MGM Grand. I thought that was cheeky. But I also have another one that handles coal. So it gives you coal, gives you metal, and then copper and steel I just do with the LDS shuffle. Yeah. Peace out, Kieran. Let's see. Good to have you here. And I'll be live streaming in the future, so I better see you. Let's see. Yeah, upcycling EMP plants is a good idea. I do that for sure. But modules, I wouldn't even upcycle. I did a lot of upcycling in Fulgora before I did a complete revamp, and that gave me everything. So I don't even have. I wish I could show off what I did to upcycle the Fulgora, but I deleted it all. I paved it over. All right. So, unless any other suggestions, I'm going to continue working on Bioflux Upcycling. See how far I can get. What the hell? What's going on here? Oh, I think I used up all of the construction bots. What's going on here? Link to any of my blueprints at all. I've been thinking about sharing it. I'll let you know, okay? Just hit me up on Reddit. I can share a couple with you. Let's see. All right. So I'm gonna need, what do I need? Steel, batteries, circuits. Okay, so I'm gonna need copper. Oh my god, that's so much work. Do I really wanna, or do I wanna just watch this do its thing? I have to create green circuits, or do I just want to play League of Legends? Maybe. I think I just want to play League of Legends. But let's see. Kinda just want to play League of Legends. Because this is going to take so much time. I can copy from this. Oh my god. It's so bad. I'm not copying that. There's no way. Oh my god, I need sulfuric acid. We're going to do some work off stream to get this going. Gotta do some off stream work. It's going to take a minute. But it's so pretty. Because I made this the other night and I have to feed it because it's just so beautiful. I have no idea if it's going to be efficient. It might be a total piece of shit. But I had like a vision. I was just like, let's just make it like a cone. Like a pyramid. Point it all the way. Because it's so beautiful like this. You start off with the commons. You step up and then you end up with legendary here. I think it's beautiful. I am a sucker for aesthetics in a big way. So you can see with this, I just like things to be pretty. I like it to be symmetrical, right? You have the common, and it's direct insertion too. I thought this was clever. Direct insertion, and then it goes down, steps a level down, 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 down. And the ratios might be completely wrong, but it is what it is, as they say. But I'm a sucker for things that are pretty. Like, this. Let's just watch this work for a second. And then for production, I'm going through. Okay, yeah, it's ridiculous. Okay, so like a million. Oh my god, it's a perfectly a million. No way. I did not plan that at all. It's perfectly 100,000, 1,000, 1,000 a minute. That's a beautiful sight to behold. Holy shit. Yeah, LDS Shuffle is cracked. It's almost too good. People say to nerf it. I honestly like it gives you iron and copper, which are helpful, steel and copper, which are helpful. I think it's great that we have that. I think it's great that we have LDS Shuffle. It's just like a gift to the players that can get to legendary quality modules or legendary production modules. Because at some point, like it stops being about the. I love the fact that the challenges stop being about certain things. They start being about UPS. They start being about layout. And they start being about throughput. Especially with overgrowth soil. Throughput. And just clever design, to save power, whatever the case may be. This isn't overgrowth upcycling. This is just creating overgrowth for my endgame ship. But yeah, overgrowth upcycling is kind of cracked. I tried upcycling modules at one point, but it was just like a complete waste of time because it took so long to upcycle and it gave me nothing. And I could have like mass produced it, but I'd much rather just get the one specialized ingredient that you need for a tier 3 module, whether it's legendary superconductors or legendary biter eggs, legendary spoilage, and then use asteroid re-rolling and LDS shuffle to get the rest of the ingredients because they're so abundant. Like with two good, solid, like not even large asteroid re-rolling things, you just like run out of an issue with creating legendary iron, coal, whatever the case may be, plastic, because it just does it all for you, and it's very efficient at that. Um, so before anything, I think the one thing that took me from like normal casual Factorio player to starting to really like do things like this was asteroid rerolling, number one, and then overgrowth recycling too, upcycling in general. Um, because it's like a pain because there's like five quality levels, but it pushes you over the edge. Because none of this would be possible if it was all tier three. Like the ratios would be all wrong, and since it's a little bit exponential, if it was all tier three common, this base would be like four times the size. Even though they're already like 50% more effective, double as effective. The factory would be unmanageably large, and my UPS would be awful. So it's a requirement. If you're going at this level, like you can't do anything else. But yeah, no, LDS shuffle's good. I'm putting off making the rest of this because there's like so many ingredients I have to take care of. Even though I like desperately want to see this little module I created work in action, I'd have to like build all of the things, and I'm sure I will do it. But as I said before, I'm very lazy, so like I'll take my time because I have to get lubricant too. It's like a whole deal. Um, we're in fairly even space right now. It's like we're barely into the journey. This guy will travel 1.5 million kilometers out there. This is a complete mess of circuits, but it hasn't jammed once, and it provides me with enough resources, so I don't really care. I have a filter. This adds all the asteroids together, and then it means there's only 100 at all times. And then each one of these, there's what the hell? Okay. So these are three different lanes of asteroids. If one of these lanes is full, it sends that information to this, and then this will recycle the full asteroid. So if there's no need for an asteroid, these guys will re-roll it basically. And then I need so many oxide asteroids for ice that I actually have to pipe them in from this second one because it wasn't enough just for one of these loops. And believe it or not, I mean, this is a huge ship, but my asteroid productivity is high enough that these four little loops is plenty. In fact, it's like overbuilt by a factor of 10. Seriously. I have never seen these machines ever. Yeah, let's see. How many finished? Yeah, that was when it was filling it up. When it was filling up the buffer, basically. The only ones that have actually been in use are like these. And part of the reason I did that, and this is another. Let me spit. Okay, let me spit some more game for you guys. The most impactful thing that I did for this ship was making it mirrorable. It's symmetrical. So if I need to do something on the fly, if something stops working or there's an improvement to be made, especially during my test, because you have to understand with the test, I'm going for a metric that people like. It's going for a metric that I want to brag about. I want to be the best in the community. So I'm going to make improvements on the fly during the test because pausing it would mean a decrease in production. So I can shut down an entire half of the ship and it will still fly just fine because everything's overbuilt by at least a factor of 2. And that way, even for whatever reason, if one side malfunctions, it will still continue at 100% functionality. And I didn't really intend it to be that way until right at the end when I realized that I could just have it like one way or the other. But that one design decision alone has saved me so much headache. Alone. All right, I'm going to play some League of Legends now. Thank you for my last viewer for showing up. We had a good turnout today. Questions, and I appreciate everybody who's been giving support. I really do. It's been a long journey, and it's just fantastic to see people. Wait a minute. This is an old design. It's just fantastic to see people that have, really resonated with what I'm doing. It's very nice. So, cheers and bye-bye. I will see you later.